We are back at it. It is Tuesday, and I hope that you had some time to reflect upon those who we honor. We honor the dead. We honor those who sacrificed. The president, in visiting the tomb of the unknown soldier, also took an opportunity to honor those who have perished after fighting the coronavirus, honoring the families of first responders, hospital workers. All of those. We're nearing 100,000 deaths in America. But you know what? There is a lot of reason for optimism and um, a redemption, a sort of a healing. It's been said that there are no coincidences. I think that's mostly true. How about this coincidence? 1 week after the president announced he had been taking the anti-malaria drug hydroxychloroquine, the World Health Organization, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to laugh at the irony of and of the assumption that we're supposed to believe this is a coincidence. 1 week after the president said he's taking it as just a preventative, the World Health Organization suddenly announced it will stop testing hydroxychloroquine due to reported safety concerns. That a coincidence? Or do you think that is perfectly timed? This is an organization that has been the subject of Mr. Trump, of President Trump's wrath, right? And a week after he had the reporters lose their minds by sharing that he was taking it as a prescription from his doctors, 1 week later, the World Health Organization, an embattled or entity if there ever was one, and of course the president has withdrawn funding over its mismanagement of the COVID-19 crisis. Suddenly, the World Health Organization says, let's stop the clinical trials and testing of hydroxychloroquine. And it'll just, no one will even connect those dots. It's a week after Trump announced he's taking it, and after it was revealed that the United States has withheld funding from us. We'll show him. And I just keep thinking of all the people I know who say their life was saved by the use of hydroxychloroquine, zithromycin, and zinc. I don't know anything about it. I'm not a doctor or a scientist. I don't know if it works. If it doesn't work, I hope they test it. If it doesn't work, let's move on to the next one. Look at remdesivir. Look at the vaccines that look like that seem very promising. There's a lot of things that are giving us optimism, hope, inspiration. I'm just going to tell you, hydroxychloroquine for many people is one of them. What's the guy's name on Fox News? Mark Siegel? Is that the doctor, Dr. Mark Siegel, who swears it saved his father's life? I know of people like John McConnell in Florida and Broadway actors and people in New York who swear that it saved their lives. But I guess, if Trump liked the idea, we got to demonize it and vilify it and make sure that you don't have the opportunity to take it. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand any of it. I could care less what drug works by name as long as it works. And judging by the numbers, the death rate, the way things are going down, the additional hospitalizations, et cetera, there's a lot of reason to be optimistic right now. Our number is 1-800-655-MIKE. We got a lot to dive into today. Governor Whitmer extending Michigan's stay-at-home order now until the middle of June 12th. She keeps extending. Do you know this is the 5th time she's extended her original mandate that you should stay at home? It's called Safer at Home. And the business closures will now be extended until then. They'll still try to restrict movement. Whitmer also extended her state of emergency through June the 19th. She's digging in. And I want to share with you at some point a Wall Street Journal editorial called the Blue State Lockdown Blues. This is from the editorial board of the Wall Street Journal. The state lockdowns are starting to ease. The U.S. economy should begin to recover, but states that are opening the slowest are big states run by Democrats. Represents about a third of the economy. That means a slower recovery for not only those states, but the entire country. Now, there's so much pressure that these Democrat governors are feeling. They're starting to reopen with some restrictions, but nonetheless, they're look at Governor Whitmer. Look at Whitmer in Michigan, June 12th, which for many businesses is absolutely, for the company and for the business, a death sentence. Meanwhile, politically, how about Joe Biden? And this broke on Friday when we were last together. But Joe Biden saying you ain't black if you haven't yet decided who to vote for. The host he was talking to is a very popular host named Charlamagne Tha God. And he said on MSNBC over the weekend, an apology from Joe Biden simply isn't enough. He's got to do more. And here's, according to the radio host, what Joe Biden is going to need to do to make it right.
Do you think there's a risk that not just Joe Biden, but the Democratic Party in general just takes for granted that, well, the black people are with us, so we don't really have to give them anything else. They're going to vote for us regardless. Look, they voted for Joe Biden in overwhelming numbers, 6 in 10 black voters, particularly in southern states. They all voted for Joe Biden. We don't need to offer anything more. Do you worry that that is the attitude that Democrats are taking toward the black community?
I mean, I know that's the attitude, you know. I mean, that's why I don't even care about the words and the lip service, and the apology is cool, but the best apology is actually a black agenda. You know, they got to make some real policy commitments to black people. We got to stop acting like the fact that blacks are overrepresented in America when it comes to welfare, poverty, unemployment, homelessness, drug addiction, crime, coronavirus. Like, that's no accident. Like, the whole function of systemic racism is to marginalize black people.
So essentially, the host is saying that you gotta show me, not just say it. You gotta convince black voters that you care with your actions, not your words. And you know, there's one reality over Joe Biden's comments, and we'll play the original comment for you as well, because a lot of this, again, all broke on Friday. So we'll go back and find that for you and play it for you. Joe Biden's got a real dilemma now, because it's virtually impossible for him to select anyone other than a person of color to be his vice presidential running mate. That's it. Full stop. He can't choose anybody else now, because there's a whole lot of people on the left who are angry about Biden's comments. There are a whole lot of people who are saying this guy is not capable of being the president for all Americans. So now you got to have a person of color if you're Joe Biden, and he has promised it's going to be a woman. So it's got to be a woman of color to be his vice presidential running mate. Would you agree? 1-800-655-MIKE. I hope you join us as we kick things off for a Tuesday in the ReliefFactor.com studios. Lines are already almost jammed. We have one open line for you now if you want to weigh in on any of this stuff. The state's reopening, the media's gloom and doom coverage all weekend. Look at those people in a pool. Look at those people on the beach. It's like all they got right now.